All right, sixth period. This is Unit 10, Day 5, Factoring Trinomials. To factor a quadratic expression means to write it as the product of two linear expressions. So you're going to hear me saying A, B, and C a lot today, and what we mean when you're looking at a quadratic in standard form, A is the coefficient for x squared, B is the coefficient for x, and C is the constant. Okay? So just keep that in mind. What we're trying to do here in example number 1, it says factor x squared plus 3x plus 2. We're trying to figure out what multiplies to give us x squared plus 3x plus 2. So to begin factoring this, we're going to first ask ourselves, what are the factors of our C value? In this case, our C value is positive 2. And factors are numbers that multiply to give you that number. So what numbers multiply to give you positive 2? One thing you can do is go to your calculator in y equals. We're going to put our C value, which is 2, over x. And then in line 2, we're going to put the same C value over x plus x. Then we're going to go to our table. If you hit second and graph, it's going to show you all the numbers and multiply to give you positive 2. Now there aren't that many. 2 and 1 and negative 1 and negative 2. But this will help when we have bigger numbers that have factors that we might not have memorized. So what we're going to do now is look at our B value, which is 3, positive 3, and we're going to look for that number 3 in the far right column. So here we go. You see it twice actually, but look at the numbers that go with it, 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. That order doesn't necessarily matter, but the two numbers that accompany your B value, 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, we're going to use those now to finish our factoring. This is all you really have to do. We're going to put our x's here and here, and then those two numbers, 1 and 2, go here, and you're done. Now we can also use our calculator to check our work, and this will be very helpful when you have multiple choice questions. We've done this in other types of problems, and we're going to do it here. So the same strategy can be used for different concepts. We want to know when to use our calculator and how to use it in certain situations. Well, this is another one where you can use y equals. If this were a multiple choice problem that you were asked to factor, and the original problem you were asked to factor x squared plus 3x plus 2, we would type that into line 1. And then our answer choices would go one at a time into line 2 of y equals. So our answer was x plus 1 times x plus 2. Let's see what happens. We're going to put x plus 1 times x plus 2 in there, and then as you remember, we're going to go to the table and make sure that all of the y values match, which they do. So that just shows that we factored it correctly. Alright, so I'm going to do one more example and then turn it over to you guys. Let's do example number 2, x squared plus 8x plus 15. One thing I would suggest if you're asked to factor a trinomial is that you set up a double bubble. If you look at our answer from the first example, there's 2 sets of parentheses, so that's how your answers are going to look. Let's do that and then go back to our steps. So x squared plus 8x plus 15 is the trinomial that you're factoring. Let's write two parentheses. And we can also safely assume that we're going to have an x here and an x here. So we just have to figure out the two numbers. So again, we're going to use those steps from the previous example. We're going to go to y equals, and which value are we going to put over x? The c value. What's the c value? You said 15, you're good. We're going to put 15 over x and y equals, so let me just bring the calculator back up. You should be following along and doing the same. (15 over x) and then 15 over x plus x. What this is going to do is show us numbers that multiply to give us 15. Has a few more than 2. The b value is 8. So where does that come into play? We're going to look for positive 8 in the far right column. If you don't see it, sometimes you have to move up or down. But in this case, we can see that there is positive 8 right there. So what are the two numbers that accompany it? 3 and 5. And that finishes the problem for us. So we're going to put plus 3 and plus 5 right there. And just to check our work, we can put the original problem in the line 1 of y equals and our answer in the line 2. Go to the table and make sure all the y values match. So that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. I want you to try the rest, and we'll come around and help.